Hi everyone, this is Elvira. I wanted to let you know that we're going to do this in 2 videos. We're going to be doing a cabbage soup, and it's one of my favorites. I just love it. These are some of the vegetables: green onions, potatoes, carrots, regular onion, mushrooms, cilantro and fresh parsley, fresh spinach, cabbage, and our frozen vegetables. And then we'll have all our seasonings, but it's going to be in 2 parts so that everybody can see the outcome. And we have some avocado. So the first thing we're going to do is cut everything up, and get everything ready to go. Oh, and the broth is homemade, and my broth is in my cookbook, and there's no calories in it because I use water, and I basically just use seasonings. And it turns out really good. I don't use any canned stuff or anything like that. I'm not into that. I try to be as healthy as I can. I used to be like that. It's just that some things happened to me where I couldn't do what I needed to do. And then about 2017, when they pretty much told me either I lose the weight or I die, I decided to get back into the thing. Some of the people were toxic. They made fun of me, and I just realized I couldn't do that. And we're just going to chop up all our vegetables, I put an avocado in. In the recipe, we've got avocado, green onions, pepper. I mean, this is going to make a lot. So, and then this is what it looks like chopped. Because a lot of this will get really, really broken down once it boils. We're not going to put any, and we got fresh garlic. I love a clove of fresh garlic. That is just probably one of my favorites, garlic and cilantro and parsley. You can't have a soup without your garlic. So like I said, we're going to do this in 2 parts. The first one, we're going to get all of our seasonings and get everything chopped. And then, let's see here. The spinach I really don't chop. Pretty much just throw it in the pan because it cooks down anyways, and the spinach will cook really down, so you really don't need to cut it. The only thing I'm doing is cutting my vegetables like this, the potatoes, and the broth I already added to the pan. I'll show you here, as you can see, and then I just added water. I haven't added any other seasonings. And I wasn't going to do any more soups, but it's just like, I have a long work week this week, and I thought, this would be perfect for lunch, and it's healthy. And that's one thing I try to stress to people is the healthiness, because we're probably one of the worst nations I've heard through my doctor and everything, that we don't eat right. And a lot of people just don't take the time, but you can take the time, because who cares if you eat it for a couple days? You can freeze it. There's a lot of things you can do. I mean, I eat the same thing over and over. When I first started losing weight, you'll see in the cookbook, it's not that big. You know why? Because I just ate the same thing because I didn't care. I was about getting healthy. I didn't care, and I got rid of the toxic people in my life. I didn't care if they were my friends anymore. I had to look at, you want to make fun of me because of how I eat, then go ahead. I don't care. And here's what it looks like chopped. We're just chopping away. Throwing it in our pan. Like I said, this is going to be 2 videos because there's just too much to do. I can get a long video, but I still haven't figured out how to get it up there. So we're not doing it. I'll just do it in 2. Plus, it works out. You can see the final outcome and stuff, so it works better that way. And then in the summertime, you'll see the one that, this one here is still my winter one. Today I started, and we got some green onions to chop. I started on the salad with my egg salad. That'll go in the summer one because I eat that a lot in the summer. I'll show you how I chopped it. Just like this. Put that in there. Oh, this is just smell. Wait till you start hearing the smelling and it starts boiling. All the aroma in your kitchen, it just smells so good. So, chop the carrots. So I'm chopping the carrots. And that's what it looks like chopped. Carrots. This is one of my best soups. I actually came up with it last year, and I never really wrote it down. And then some people liked it, and it's like I had to recreate it, and I had to think about it today. Like, how the hell did I do that? I did it. So, but I got it. And then we'll chop this onion. Oh, no, that's thing to onions again. And everything usually takes about an hour to boil. This one here, you don't have to chop everything real fine because you want it to be where you can see the vegetables, because this is just a really good soup. And when I made it that time, it was like I needed something to eat, and I had to really come up with some stuff. And I was just calling them ELYVIRA'S concoctions, you know, and everything, but it worked. So, now we'll throw these in the pan. Okay. This, I'm telling you, this is a healthy, it's just so delicious. You are really going to love it. And the mushrooms, I just take 2 or 3 handfuls. That's it. Chop them up. And the seasonings, you're going to start out with 2 teaspoons of each. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to have to season to taste, because, again, I don't really mushrooms. Again, I really didn't measure, and I don't. There was this guy, when my dad and I used to watch TV and we'd do cooking together. He used to be on cooking. He was on Channel 30, and it was WBS or something. And we always watched it. And he was from Louisiana, and he always said, everybody thought he was drunk, but he wasn't. And he would be, I'm going to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I just sat there and I used to think about that. We used to watch Julia Child, but I used to remember him, and he would be, I'm going to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And that was his saying. And he always never measured. And he told me that. He always said that on TV. He would go, I don't measure anything now. He says, I just do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I just followed him with my dad. And believe it or not, we did that. And that's how I learned to cook with my dad. And it was just awesome. And I still remember that. And that's my thing. I always tell everybody. And I have friends that remember him and stuff. And it was pretty cool. Put this in there. We're just about ready to add our... And this here is about, I measured it out, about, I don't know, half a bag. And it averages out to be about 80 calories. It's about 6 cups or whatever for spinach. And spinach has really no calorie. So, got that in there. We'll get our cilantro and parsley. You always have to have fresh parsley and cilantro. It just really works good in a soup. So, parsley. Yeah, and he always did that. He always said, I'm going to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And it was just, wow, that's just so cool. And that's what we did. We might be ended up with 3 parts of this video, but I don't think so. Because all we got left is to add our frozen vegetables and our seasonings. Like I said, we're going to use a little bit of sea salt, you know, just the same stuff I've always used in seasoned salt, Italian seasoning, and oregano and all that. I do it all. And I don't know, I just, the old saying, you put the kitchen sink in, I guess. And it works. There's my cilantro. Okay. Now, we're going to put our bags of vegetables in. I'm just going to throw it in the pan like this, because we're going to have to add more water. And cilantro and parsley, just grab a handful and clean it and chop it. I didn't really count, just a handful, that's what says in the recipe. Okay. Alrighty. Now, we're going to start adding our water. This is what it looks like. Because we put this cauliflower or cabbage in at the very end. And I just pretty much set the pan under here. We're going to set the pan under the sink like that. Fill it up with water. Okay. Now, cut this cabbage. And cabbage I cut up and then it pretty much cooks down to nothing, and that's what you want. Just throw it in the pan. This video might end up being 3 videos, but if it is, that's fine. I'm not worried about it. I want you guys to have this recipe because it's healthy and it's just a really good recipe. And I love it. So I'll be back in a minute here. We're going to start another video. Be back in 2 minutes.